Give me the Bible, star of gladness gleaming, to cheer the wanderer lone and tempest-tossed. No storms can hide that radiance peaceful beaming, since Jesus came to seek and save the lost. Give me the Bible, holy message shining, thy light shall guide me in the narrow way. Precept and promise, law and love combining, till night shall vanish in eternal day. Give me the Bible when my heart is broken, when sin and grief have filled my soul with fear. Give me the precious words by Jesus spoken. Hold up faith's lamp to show my Savior near. Give me the Bible, holy message shining, thy light shall guide me in the narrow way. Precept and promise, law and love combining, till night shall vanish in eternal day. Give me the Bible, all my steps enlighten, teach me the dangers of these realms below. That lamp of safety o'er the gloom shall brighten, that light alone the path of peace can show. Give me the Bible, holy message shining, thy light shall guide me in the narrow way. Precept and promise, law and love combining, till night shall vanish in eternal day. Give me the Bible, lamp of life immortal, hold up that splendor by the open grave. Show me the light from heaven's shining portals, show me the glory gilding Jordan's wave. Give me the Bible, holy message shining, thy light shall guide me in the narrow way. Precept and promise, law and love combining, till night shall vanish in eternal day. Break thou the bread of life, dear Lord, to me, as thou didst break the loaves beside the sea. Beyond the sacred page, I seek thee, Lord. My spirit pants for thee, O living word. Bless thou the truth, dear Lord, to me, as thou didst bless the bread by Galilee. Then shall all bondage cease, all fetters fall, and I shall find my peace, my all in all.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Mine Shaft, y'all. CJ is here. He says, hello. CJ, long time no see. I hope everyone is doing well, wonderful, at least, at the very minimum, having a good and blessed Saturday. Reba says hi, O'Shea. Hello, Reba. Man, you're always... Reba, you're catching me off guard all these times. My sunglasses are on my hat out there on the hat rack. So I can't put on my cool sunglasses with you. It's good to see you, Sister Reba. Hope you've been having a decent day. It's kind of muggy here out. It's kind of muggy out there today. It's supposed to rain. And we're hoping it does. Because that'll end the muggy. And it'll be water. Which we desperately need. So we're hoping it rains. But until then, it's kind of muggy. Are you preparing choo-choo, that train went bye-bye. Derailed. Oh, there we are. Reba, you preparing lunch again? Gonna have enchiladas? Greetings to everyone who is here. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, we're preparing to open up our Bibles to our mine of the day. We will be mining in Proverbs. Down the shaft of chapter 25 through the vein of gold known as verses 17 through end of chapter, which is like 28, verse 28. Reba says, no, not today. Enchiladas would be great. Yeah, I'm with you, Reba. Enchiladas would be really good right now. But we'll have to suffice with some gold nuggets. Not as edible, but still edible in certain aspects of the word. Proverbs chapter 25, verses 17 through end of chapter. CJ is having poor man's lunch, mac and cheese. How did I know CJ was eating? It just felt like CJ was eating. Alrighty. Teresa's here! Hey, Sister T, you are just in time. We are going to read Proverbs 25, verses 17 through end of chapter. Seldom set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. Like one who takes away a garment in cold weather, and like vinegar on soda is one who sings songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy is hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. The north wind brings forth rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. It is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than in a house shared with a contentious woman. As cold water is as cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. A righteous man who falters before the wicked is like a murky spring and a polluted well. It is not good to eat much honey, so to seek one's own glory is not glory. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. Remember, if you have any comments, questions, anything to add in your own personal studies, feel free to do so. Remember, this is a study style format, and I appreciate input a lot. CJ says, no, I'm preparing. Close enough, CJ, close enough. So, we start 17 off with a little bit of courtesy advice, so to speak. He says, rarely set foot in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. Don't spend all the time in the world in your neighbor's house, in his business, digging through his stuff, because a person who does that, you just kind of go like, really, dude? Why are you even here? Do you do anything? Are you just taking advantage of my house? Like, what's going on here? It's not good to spend a whole lot of time digging around in your neighbor's house, lest he become weary of you and hate you. A man who bears false witness is like, or against his neighbor, is like a club, a sword, and a sharp arrow. Here and in the verses following, we have a lot of comparisons drawn between this is like this. And so he compares. Thank you, CJ. Thank you. That is very much appreciated. So he compares. Where did that train of thought go? Choo-choo. Come on, I just had it. He's comparing things to things and likening them. He compares a false witness against his neighbor, someone who's lying, saying, he did it, it's his fault, he did this, he did this. He compares that sort of person to a club and a sword and a sharp arrow. This man is a weapon. He is a very sharp thing to be around, or he's very blunt. It's just overall not good to be associated with him. A man who bears false witness against his neighbor is untrustworthy. He goes on. He says in 19, Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. When you're trusting, when you put your confidence in an unfaithful man, someone who you really can't rely on, in the time of trouble, when you're in need of something desperately, or when bad circumstances arise, confidence in this person, putting your trust in him, it's just like a bad tooth and a foot out of joint. Most of us have experienced toothaches. Most of us. It's a pretty common thing to experience. A really bad nagging pain in your jaw. A bad tooth. It hurts constantly, over and over. Every time you go to move your jaw, go to talk, go to eat, do anything, it's just right there, in front of your mind, painful, in the way. It's like a foot out of joint. When your ankle is sprained, you can't run, you can't hardly walk, you can barely limp. When your foot is sprained is out of place, it's really just difficult to lean on your foot, isn't it? So is this man. It's difficult. It's painful to lean on him. It's difficult because he's unfaithful. He's untrustworthy. Carol! It's good to see you, sister. Very good to see you, Sister Carol. She says, hi, O'Shea. Carol. Moving on down. A little bit of a, how do you want to say it? Kind of seems counterintuitive idea is placed before us. We're told if your enemy is hungry, give him bread. And if he is thirsty, give him water to drink. And at first you're like, what? He's my enemy. Why would I be kind to him? Why would I give him anything? This is why we need to continue reading. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. See, when your enemy is hungry, when he's starving, and you give him food, when you give him water when he's about to die in the desert, for lack of a better term, when you show your kindness to him, he's like, oh, I messed up. Here I have been being mean and nasty to this person, and he's really kind to me. The enemy then feels embarrassment, burning regrets, burning embarrassment. We all know the experience of when you get embarrassed for something and your cheeks heat up, and your face feels hot. We've all been there and experienced similar scenarios like that. That's the idea here. For so you will heap coals of fire on his head, and the Lord will reward you. In the end, he'll feel like a total jerk, and God will reward you. And there is a chance that he will become your friend, that he will become a great benefactor. He will be a blessing to you. There is a chance of this. And in the modern age, there's a chance that your example that you set before him can lead him to Christ. So when your enemy is in need of something desperately, and you have it, give it to him. See what happens. And that would be our second nugget. Show kindness to the enemy. He compares the north wind that brings forth rain to the backbiting tongue, and how it brings an angry countenance. He states that the north wind brings rain. Very good. It'll happen. When the wind is blowing from the north for a long enough amount of time, eventually you're going to end up with rain. It's just how it happens. So, if someone is being a backbiting tongue, being snarky, being just overall not a good person to talk to. Like, you go up to him, you're like, hey, it's a good day out. Wonderful. He's like, oh yeah, sure, right. Uh-huh, sure, really. He's being sarcastic, being snarky, backbiting. Just not a good experience. Well, that attitude, just like the north wind, will bring something. It brings an angry countenance. It's eventually going to get on someone's nerves, whether it's your nerves or another person's. This attitude will bring an angry countenance. This is an angry thought process, an angry attitude. CJ says, gives us our second nugget, love your enemies. He also gives us a cross-reference. Thank you, CJ. So, nugget number 3. Oh, and this ties in really well with Dad's devotion this morning about the power of a tongue. Winning wars, ending wars, starting wars, sinking ships. How do I want to phrase this? Hello, Sean. Good to see you, brother. How do I want to phrase this? Nugget number 3. A fierce tongue brings angry eyes. Unless CJ figures out a better way to say it. Moving on down. Yes, Sister T, we are on YouTube. We are currently live on YouTube as TEM, Christian Edification Ministries. In 25, he compares cold water to good news. He says, as cold water to a weary soul. You know, when it's been blazing hot outside, as it has been for a large portion of this year. Miserable heat. And, you know, you get there and you're out there working outside. Or just being outside is enough in most cases. You start to crave a good glass of cold water. Or perhaps cold lemonade. Same idea. A good glass of something cold to drink. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. To hear good news is like a wave of fresh air. It's like that burst of cold water on the tongue, on the lips, when you're all hot and sweaty. It's the same sort of feeling. So is good news from a far country. Like You're sitting there, and all of a sudden, your brother, who lives halfway across the country, calls you up, telling you some good news. For example, say, well, anyways, just some good news. Like he just became a father or something along them lines. Give or take. Add your own scenario in there. A relative calls you up with some great, wonderful news. It's refreshing to hear. Good news is good on the ears. Nugget number 4. That's another good one, CJ. Someone obeying the gospel. When you hear Paul Mays send out a post saying, hey, we just had a baptism today, that's a refreshing feeling. It makes you go, oh, that's nice. And then you pray for that person, right? It's refreshing. Good question, Sister T. Good question. I gave CJ a third, but he might have missed it. We'll wait for him to respond. He could be furiously typing right now while trying to stir his macaroni. He says, I'm cooking over here. Oh, here. I'll give it a try. Not yet, Sister T. There you go, Sister T. Teresa, if he joins us on YouTube, yes, I can see his comments if he comments. There you go. There's nugget number 3. You see how long that took me to type out? Typing and keyboard just isn't my thing. Digging, building, moving things, yeah. Typing, it's very time consuming for me. I can write faster than I can type. Where was I at? Sister T says thank you. Sean says thank you. I did tell him. Okay. You're very welcome, Teresa. Where was I at? Moving on to verse 27. It is not good to eat much. It is not good to eat much honey. Here we are with the honey idea again. So, to seek one's own glory is not glory. If y'all were able to catch the last Noontime Nuggets, we were told eat only as much honey as you need. Let's just back up and look at it. Have you found honey? Honey? Eat only as much as you need, lest you be filled with it and vomit. Yeah, I'm ignoring you because you're complaining. And I don't know why. I typed out the comment. You should be rejoicing in your boots. But here he is complaining at me. Some people's kids. Anyways, I'm trying to present a study here, CJ. It is not good to eat much honey, so to seek one's own glory is not glory. So we're back with the honey idea. And it, like he stated earlier, it's not good to eat a lot of honey. So, this is the comparison. To seek one's own glory is not glory. When you're out there trying to impress people, to look fancy, to look glorious, deliberately, if that's your only motivator, if that's what's motivating you to do what you're doing, you're seeking your own glory, and it's not exactly glorious. Not very much. So, nugget number 5. Don't seek your own glory. Or actually, don't self-glorify. Excuse me. Okay. And our final verse, our final idea. Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down without walls. If you have no hold on your own spirit, on your own mind, if you don't have any control over yourself, it's like being a city that's in ruin without walls. It's a defenseless city. A person who doesn't know how to control themselves is defenseless. It is broken down. Anyone who comes along can convince them of just about anything. This person is defenseless, exposed, not stable. Don't be the person who has no rule over his own spirit. So our 6th nugget, and our final one for the day, is have control over self. Are you happy now, CJ? So, our nugget rundown, our list is nugget number 1. Don't overstay your welcome. Learn boundaries. Nugget number 2. Love your enemies. Be kind to them. You just might be surprised what happens. Nugget number 3. A fiery tongue brings angry eyes. Nugget number 4. Good news is great to hear. Like CJ, cooking macaroni. Good news is great to hear. Our 5th nugget, don't self-glorify. It's just not good. Plain and simple, it's not good. And finally, nugget number 6, have control over self. Teresa says, thank you, got my nuggets down. You are very welcome, Teresa. Reba says, thank you for them there golden nuggets. You're welcome, Reba. Thank you for being here, sister. Thank you all for putting on your hard hats, for picking up your picks and jumping in the minecart with me. It was a pleasure. Even though CJ's slacking off. Gotta poke fun at him. It was a pleasure to see each and every one of you. Love you all. Till we meet again. God bless. Stay safe. Bye-bye.